My loves, I wanted to talk about sensuality today and what it really means in the context of being a woman. In our mind, we have certain perceptions of what sensuality is for us and how we can express it. But in reality, it derives from the word senses, meaning touching, hearing, feeling, smelling, tasting. Sensuality can only be felt through embodiment. It's not something that you can think of. Especially in my coaching sessions, but also in dancing, I can see that a lot of women are still holding themselves back. They are perhaps feeling naughty, that they're doing something wrong, or even sometimes as a prostitute. But to be very honest, it's mostly the inner power that we are feeling in this moment that holds us back, and it's the suppression and the conditioning of our own sexual energy that we have experienced. Really, being sensual is not something you can think your way through, but it's really something you can only feel your way through. Many women really store years of trauma in the womb space, and this is related to, of course, sometimes sexual abuse, but also emotional distress and biological factors that can play a role into that. When this part of ourselves is blocked, whether knowingly or unknowingly, we will see the effects playing out in different areas in our lives, whether it's our relationships, our overall health and well-being, but more so how we perceive the people around us. Because if you are not in your feminine power, you will very often look at other women as a threat and project your insecurities onto them. And that also brings me to the topic of lean back into our feminine. It is a feminine quality of surrender, allowing, receptivity, being open, and also allowing ourselves to receive. Leaning forward is masculine quality. It's the quality of competition, thinking, overthinking, achieving, getting stuff done, taking care of others. And because it is a quality that we associate success with, someone who gets shit done versus someone who leans back and surrenders, we think that the feminine is weak, but it couldn't be further from the truth. When you take care of your children, you are very much as well in your masculine energy, because you're acting as the provider, as the protector, as the nurturer, you see? When we are really tuned into our own respective feminine and sensual side, which can look very different for each woman, we are naturally and automatically leaning back into our nature. But when it comes to the dating life, it is really apparent that a lot of women are way too much in their masculine, meaning leaning forward. They are proactive, chasing after men, being desperate after men, competing with other women over men and over the attention of the other sex. And you know that I'm being always very real in my videos. I don't give you airy-fairy, fluffy BS. And you know, it is not about that we are living in the 21st century and that we should go back to the 50s and the way women were and what we are doing. It's absolutely fine, you know, to create opportunities for yourself and show someone that you really like them. But the leaning forward part that I am talking about is the one that comes out of our pain and fear. When we are not emotionally involved with a man, we are naturally not giving a damn, not because we are rude people or because we don't care about them, but because we are not expecting a certain outcome. We are not attached to whether our feelings are reciprocated or not. And this is the moment where you are naturally in your leaning back mode, because you're surrendering, you are receiving, but you're open to other opportunities. But often when we really like somebody and we would want for them to feel the same way that we do, but we are still in the early stages, not sure where it's heading, we can create our own mindfuck movie that is not based on the current facts of what is happening, on what he's doing versus not doing, but on our past pains. And here is where you have to really observe yourself, become conscious of your patterns, of your thoughts, and especially over your behavior. It's okay to feel fear, especially when we had tough experiences. You know, it influences us and it's there in our body. The fear in itself is not the problem, but our reaction to the fear is the problem. So being your feminine is not just about leaning back and surrendering and being receptive. It's also about being present, taking the facts of what is of the status quo and being rational about it, neutralizing our thoughts, ergo therefore also our behavior. When you are truly attuned in who you are as a woman, in your whole feminine and sensual presence, when you own your sexuality, when you are just aware, fully aware of who you are, there comes a magic with it. And it's often a paradox in life that we focus on something, and while we focus on it, we actually create more of it, versus when we take the attention to actually what we desire, the thing we want to focus on dissolves by itself, because our focus and our all intention is on what we want to have and who we want to be. I can talk about this forever, and the video would most likely be 3 hours long. But what I would really like to leave you with is that it is a progress. It is unlearning what we have never learned, literally, and is getting rid of the old programming that is ingrained in us in order to really understand who we are. And if you need help, you're more than welcome to reach out to me, because I work with women on exactly those topics and releasing their insecurities, their old traumas, and to tap into their feminine power, into their confidence, their sensuality. Because ladies, no words in this world can explain the feeling that it gives you when you're plugged in into what is naturally you. It can only be experienced. Women often tend to think that something is wrong with them, that they are malfunctioning, that they are not normal, whatever the hell is considered normal. But I want to leave you with that you aren't broken. You never were. You simply have a case of mistaken identity that, of course, growing up in our cultures, we receive certain information, certain learnings about what it means to be a woman, in your feminine, in your sexuality, in all of those places. But the time has come to break free from all of those old patterns. It's no more just about speaking our truth and speaking up, but it is really about being in our truth. The key word is truly being. I'm sending you all so much sensual and feminine love. Mwah.